Okay, welcome everyone to the November SWAN RFID user group meeting. We are gathered here today to talk about RFID, all things RFID, and today should be kind of a special, fun change of pace from our normal meetings. I am Aaron Sievers. I'm a systems administrator here at SWAN, and joined as always is Rebecca Bartlett, our co-chair from the LaGrange Public Library. And we have a number of representatives from a variety of RFID industry leaders that are going to kind of talk about what they have going on at their respective companies. So I just wanted to say up front, just kind of to as a bit of a disclaimer that SWAN, of course, is vendor agnostic. We work with all vendors, and this session shouldn't be seen as an endorsement of any one or a group of vendors. So it's also a little bit unorthodox in that we've got these guys are all in the same industry, so we're gonna make sure we keep things nice and civil and light, and make sure that everyone's voice is respected today. So we also just want to point out that for the purposes of this meeting, let's not discuss pricing, and we can do those conversations privately. And for you vendors, we'll make sure we've got your contact information included at the end, so that anyone in the audience today who wants to get in touch will be able to do that. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rebecca, and we'll kick things off.
Okay, welcome everyone. Just wanted to review the agenda for today. We're going to have each of the vendors present for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have a little bit of time for questions. We are asking people to, if you have a question while someone is speaking, just go ahead and put it in the text chat, and then we'll be monitoring that text chat. And then we're going to go over just some general things about the RFID support page, and then how you can participate in the SWAN forums. Just want to let everybody know our next meeting is going to be April 25th of 2024. Let's go ahead and start the slides. Just had a couple things. So we have 5 vendors that are with us today. We have, I put them in alphabetical order: Biblioteca, Envisionware, FE Technologies, Linkso, and TechLogic. Next slide. Just wanted to give everybody kind of a heads up. If I could have everybody mute while you're not talking, it's kind of got some background noise going on in here. Thank you. So we have 5 RFID vendors. We're going to do 10 minutes per vendor. Go ahead and enter your questions in the chat, and just again, be very civil and respectful with each other. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to our Biblioteca rep. Go ahead and mute myself here and give him just a minute to get those slides up.
Perfect. All right. Really appreciate it, Rebecca, and appreciate everyone letting us join this call. I know you haven't done any of these in the past, and it's great to be able to jump in front of you all, talk a little bit about what we at Biblioteca have been focusing on, and really just excited to be here and be in this forum. We've been working with a lot of you libraries out there, and really been seeing some tremendous work that's being done with you and your communities. It really, and I was talking with Christy about this the other day, it feels like we've made leaps and bounds past a couple of years ago, and especially after summer reading and having all the kids and the families in there, it really feels like a library again, and we're just excited to be a part of that. And so really a lot of what we'll be talking about today, and really we'll breeze through most of it, because there's so many things we'd like to talk about individually with you depending on your needs. But over the past few years, we've really been inwardly focused on improving some of our capabilities, everything from support to our local technicians. And I know that there's been some struggles with a few folks out there, but really from now and the past 6 months, we've been really focusing inward, but also getting a lot of feedback from libraries like yourself. So you'll see, if you weren't at ALA, you'll see in this presentation quite a few new products in the portfolio that we offer. And a lot of it's around what we've been hearing from you. So accessibility, community engagement, staff workflow and efficiencies. So excited to be able to hear about what's going on with a lot of the libraries here. Get to hear from some of our peers. I'm sure they're seeing the same exact thing that we are out there. And with that, just to give you a quick introduction. So my name's Mason Humphrey. I'm the VP of Sales for the West here. I go way back into the 3M days and then Biblioteca, and have been working with a lot of you libraries in the past. We also have Christy Sampson. She's your local representative right there in the Chicago area. And so she's already, I know, met with quite a few of you. She'll get around to meet with the rest of you, but she's the one right there in your backyard who's focused, right in the Chicago area. And then I'm the lucky one that gets to travel all around the country and meet with other libraries to see what's going on within other regions and kind of help bring that visibility to you and Christy. And then someone that we have behind the scenes as well came back to Biblioteca after taking a 3-year hiatus and realizing how much he missed libraries. Matt Bellamy is now our president of Americas. So he's actually the one who's driving a lot of the recent changes that we've had over here, focusing on you, the library, and making sure that you're getting the support and the new technology that you need. So really happy to have him back. But to give you an idea of what we've been focusing on, a lot of, at least around the solutions that we offer, we've got a broad portfolio from everything from outreach tools like remote lockers and mobile self-check to automated materials handling systems to some of the new stuff that we launched like Smart Shelf. But all of these are coming from feedback from the SWAN libraries, from other libraries around the country, and what you want and what challenges you're facing. So that's the thing that's kind of really bringing a lot of these new solutions to market that we'll show you here in a second. But the other thing that kind of sets us apart as well is we serve a lot of libraries across the globe. And so some of the challenges that we get to overcome are trying to, ship library equipment up the Amazon River to some really rural libraries, or, we're working with Hawaii, trying to get equipment across 7 islands and 50 branches, and even, trying to navigate some of those congested Chicago highways that you have there. It's, being able to overcome these challenges and have the breadth of reach that Biblioteca has is something that helps make sure that we're keeping the focus to small and rural libraries like yourself, then also pulling big ideas from all over the globe to make sure that you're kind of at the forefront of helping your community. One thing we also do a little bit differently is that physical and digital library experiences. So everything from being able to help you with your ebooks and audiobooks to also have that integration in the self-checks. We've got a lot of fun new marketing tools that we've launched that allows you to display images up on screens throughout the library, from the self-check to screens up on the wall to your public access computer, all showing the same dynamic promotion and images across your physical libraries. So being able to have that and that consistent messaging and all of these digital tools that integrate with your physical solutions definitely makes a big impact. We also really stand, and you'll see this in a lot of the messaging around equity and access. So being able to come out and provide low-cost solutions that get your library reach outside your 4 walls. I know there's quite a few of you we've been speaking with about like the Holtz pickup lockers. This one is at the Wilmette Public Library that they're getting fantastic use out of. And there's a lot more that we see going in. But there's some other solutions that actually we just launched this week, which is an accessibility package for integration with your current self-checks that can help get access to more patrons. But again, just trying to help you solve the problems that your libraries are facing today and being able to help your community and those in your community that need it most. Another big push that you'll be seeing from us now in some of the next iteration of our products is really about eco-friendly, low power, something smaller, faster. We're seeing libraries evolve so quickly that being able to have mobile tools and being able to reach into the community is something that is more important than ever. So, like this next iteration of our self-check, our mobile self-check solution, which is a tablet-based, runs off of Wi-Fi. This is something that, Aurora Public Library showcased this in their bookmobile, a small mobile self-checkout that they can take out to farmers market or have on their bookmobile to be able to allow them to be able to, provide that self-service even when you only have one person running a bookmobile. So that's kind of another one of our focuses. And then one of the others is all about different and radical options. We're actually seeing a lot, and this is something we can dive deeper into, having a little bit of time with Christy and myself, is we're seeing a lot of UK, European, Asia Pacific market that is looking at ways to increase hours, increase their access, increase their awareness. And this is something that happened, a few years back, even the pre-COVID time. And really what's been happening is we've seen a lot of the same requests coming from our US libraries and libraries close to your home, that they're looking to do the same thing. So a lot of these solutions we're pulling over from other markets because there's a great need here. So things like the Smart Shelf, which is an automated returns shelf. If you don't have room for a sorter, or if you have a smaller branch, this is something that can sit out on the floor in your lobby. Patrons just put items on the shelf. It automatically gets checked in. They can check out items at the self-check. And if it's got a hold on it, it prints the hold slip and notifies the staff to grab that item off the shelf. We've got that extended access solution that's starting to grow in a lot of interest all around the Midwest. Scott County Library here in Minnesota actually has their 6th branch that they're launching. So there's a lot of these cool radical ideas. Not going to work for every library, but this is something in our portfolio, in the ecosystem, that really can tie everything together. And you work with us, and it's just adding on another solution to the ecosystem that you have with Biblioteca. So really, the things that we do well is everything from access to your building or materials outside of your 4 walls, inclusion, so allowing all these accessibility options for those patrons of different backgrounds to be able to use your spaces, all the different languages that we offer, over 70 languages now, and just really building that community so that anyone that comes into the library can use those services and be comfortable in your spaces. And then as moving forward, sustainability has been a key focus in what we've been working on. And that leaks into everything from equity, diversity, and the outreach tools that you can provide. So I will say there's a lot of solutions that we offer today. Anything that you see here today, we've got references. Probably some of you are some of our references, or there's libraries close by that we can point you to. You don't have to take it from me. Go see some of these solutions at some of your neighbors and see how they're working for them, because they're the ones who have really tried and tested these and will give you the proper feedback that you need. So reaching out to Christy, reaching out to myself, really happy to help guide you, and to any libraries who might have had the same and similar challenges that you have. And I will say, there's going to be a lot of announcements coming from Biblioteca, some really exciting things. We've got, and it hasn't been released yet, but thought I'd give you a sneak peek. We got some new enhanced integrations with Circe Dynex that will be coming out soon. Some integrations with some of the other ILS providers, really just building those bridges and trying to help make your lives easier and your staff lives easier is something that we've been doing well, that we're going to have some new fun, exciting things to share with you all. So we will be able to provide references. We'd love to come and chat with you. We'll be visiting a lot of you here soon. for any of the products in our ecosystem. And then you'll be getting our contact info after this meeting, as well as these slides in case there's anything that you need from us. But that was kind of everything that we had. Really appreciate you allowing us to be here. Really excited to hear from you and from our other vendors to see how things are going. And then Rebecca, I'll hand it back over to you if there's any questions that the team had, or you can take it away. And hopefully I made
Yeah,
my 10
absolutely.
minutes.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Mason. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We're also going to keep everybody here. And then if there's any questions at the end of the presentation, after everyone has gone. But yeah, go ahead and put any of those in the chat. Our next vendor, I'm going to give them a few minutes to get set up here, is Envisionware. So thank you so much, Mason.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you hear me, Rebecca?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for joining me, and it's always good to see Mason. I actually saw him up at the Minnesota State Show a couple weeks ago, so good to see all the vendors here today. And normally we get to see each other at the shows, but it's nice to get everyone in one room. So thank you all for joining me today. I don't think I can switch the slide, so I'll just tell you in this. I think, yep, there we go. Envisionware has been around for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you are Envisionware customers or have used Envisionware at your libraries currently today. But we were founded back in 1998, and we've been growing in the library space for the last 25 years. We are focused on public libraries. That's what we do. Majority of our customers are public libraries. We will work with academic libraries sometimes, but our real focus and what we want in our mission statement is just to work in the public library space. From the employees within Envisionware, we have tons of former librarians, former library directors, former library staff, from our implementation to our product managers to our head of HR actually used to work at Columbus Metro as well. We have over 12,000 libraries served. Many of you are Envisionware customers today, but 12,000 public libraries use Envisionware products. And our number one thing that we focus on is customer service. Now, everyone's going to say that, but that is our goal. And from vendor relationships to public libraries, everything is focused on your service. We'll go to the next slide. So what we got started in, that everybody knows, is PC reservation and LPT1, our time and print management. This was developed by, again, kind of like Mason said, just listening to libraries. We started with a print management solution, and then we moved into the PC management. And since then, we've moved into every aspect of the library. So scanning and faxing, anything and everything RFID, which we're going to get into today, self-checkout, automated material handling, vending kiosks, credit cards, tablets, reporting, anything that deals with the public library, we can pretty much work with you. And if we can't do it, we can point you in the right direction. We'll go to the next slide. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our one-stop software. This is our self-check software that we developed. We can put it on your own computer. If you don't have the money to get our hardware, that's completely fine. We can install our software on your PCs. We get a lot of libraries that don't have enough money to buy a brand new solution, so we will just use what they have, and then eventually we can work up into our hardware if you desire. But it's all customizable depending on what your needs are at the library. It'll integrate with all your other Envisionware solutions. So if you have PC reservation, or if you have copy payment manager that manages your copiers, everything can be shown on the screen. So every solution that you add in our portfolio will just add value to the other solutions that you have, including putting, if you want to do fine and fee payments, we integrate with all the ILSs, obviously, for itemized fine and fee payments. And then if you need emailed receipts, all that can be done. And all our self-checks will work barcode or RFID. Now, in the newest self-checks just were announced here at ALA in Chicago a few months ago. These are X25 version of our self-checks. countertop kiosk. You can add sidecars with vending kiosks, but this is our newest generation. That being said, we offer 3 different types of generations, and if you don't like the look and feel of this one, we have other options for you. But this has been a really hot item since ALA, of our newest generation of our self-checks. Now, what we're going to talk about next actually is some different case studies, what we see in libraries. I do get the ability to travel around the country and see different libraries, and there's 2 that really stuck out to me over this past year that have been innovative in the library space. So Plano Public Library, they were actually a customer of ours, but they were looking at everyone. They brought in everybody to get different options for sorting and for new self-checks. And one thing that I actually really like that they did as part of their RFP is they wanted on-site visits every year, which is standard for sorters, but for all of their products. So when we come on site to do their preventative maintenance on their sorters, we will actually go through and look at all the self-checks and all the time and print management products that they have at the library, and just do a complete revamp upgrade of everything that they have at the library. So they're always running the newest versions. They're always running the newest stuff. So I really liked the way that they included that. It's a kind of a new idea. Like I said, preventative maintenance on sorters is an old idea. I think everyone on this call does that. But while we're there doing that, we're going to be upgrading all their other equipment as well. Another library that had a really cool process was Kent District Library up in Michigan. They pretty much wanted to see, imagine what we're doing today and put it on steroids. They wanted to see everything from everyone. What do you have? Show us everything. Give us pricing on everything. We want to see the best of it, and we'll pick what we want. So this is a very consultative approach to this, looking into all the different options. We actually went on site to all the branches. I think all the vendors did. We went to all the branches and talked with librarians. That's what we did for a week, and just got their feedback. And really, it's not even a short-term project. I think this is going to take over the next 4, 5, 6 years. But in the immediate future, after we went and visited their libraries, we did an on-site presentation of all the solutions that we offer. And then they went and visited a couple of our sorters that we have out there today. When they came into it, they wanted branch sorters at each of the branch libraries. After discussing it with them and seeing other customers and going to other customers, they actually decided to do a central sorter at a central location. But it was all part of this consultative approach. Show us what you have, get us in touch with your customers, and let's make what decision is right for ours. So they went in wanting one thing, and they actually changed it another thing. Another thing that they found that wasn't even on the radar when this started was the lib cabinet, and that's what we're going to talk about next. If anyone's ever been up to the Seattle Amazon store, you walk in, you take anything off the shelf, and then you walk out, and it charges your account. Now, I don't know how they do that. I probably don't want to know how they do that, but this is our attempt at that. So the lib cabinet, you can actually put this anywhere in the community. Kent actually has a library that doesn't have a building. It's 20 miles in every direction from all other libraries. So they wanted to have outreach at that location. So what would happen, these are the proposals of what they wanted to do at their libraries. They kind of wanted to brand it. So they would walk up, they'll scan their library card, the shelf will open. They can take any item off of any shelf, and then when they close it, it will automatically check it out to their account. Same thing for returns. When you come in, scan your library card, the whole shelf will open. The whole shelf, not the holds shelf, the whole shelf will open. They can put any items on any shelf, and it will return to their account. So they came, and what we really push is make our products yours. Like we have these, but we really want them to be yours. We want you to fall in love with them. And this is what they proposed to their community. In the end, they actually didn't choose either of these options. They chose this one because their end goal is to build a library in this area. That's what they want to do. So they put a little robot to put sign-ups for library cards there next to the lib cabinet, and they actually painted the wall behind the lib cabinet, and they're going to move this lib cabinet around the communities when a new library gets built. So again, I love their approach that they did to the whole process, but really what I love is they made the solution their own. Now, in the next couple minutes that I have left, we'll just kind of do a little bit of show you what else is out there now that we've talked about those two. Smart shelves, as Mason talked about earlier. If you can't afford a sorter, we have smart shelves as well. Same thing. They can come in and just drop their items on the shelf as they come into the library. A way more affordable solution for some of the smaller libraries, or maybe if you don't have the space for a sorter, you could put that in there. A wall-mounted self-check, that's new. Wall-mounted self-check, again, if you don't have the space in a library, we can put a wall-mounted self-check up there. It's an express check for anyone coming in and out of the library. That's a new product that we have coming out as well. We'll go to the next slide. The hold shelf, similar to the smart shelf, but this is super popular in Europe. It's gaining momentum over here. We have a few customers over here in the US, but really it's a new concept for US librarians, because US librarians want to make it, focus on the patron and focus on that, which this does as well, but this also helps staff. No more receipts that go in these holds. You don't have to put the patron information on them. They would actually just put the items on the shelf. They'd scan their library card and tell them what bay their hold is in, and they can take it right there. So it'll just save you a lot of time from printing off this hold slips, and also protect patron privacy. We'll go to the next slide. As most everyone that you're here today, we are in every space with holds lockers. Those have been really, really, really popular over the last few years. You can wrap them, you can put them indoor, you can put them outdoor. We have them as far north as northern Michigan, and we have them as far south as Miami. So any climate, any weather. Not only do we have holds lockers, but we have our whole vending kiosks. These are a whole branch of the library that has holds, check in, check out. They have a OPAC on the side of them, a sorter underneath of them. But any type of vending that you choose, we offer that as well. Next slide. And then anything in the RFID space in general. So whether it's, case controllers, RFID pads, inventory wands, gates, all of that is sold through Envisionware. One of the most popular ones is these disc readers here in the middle. Mobile, only require a USB connection. Again, great for bookmobiles or staff. A great solution there. Next slide. And really, we just appreciate the opportunity to be here with a lot of your libraries. We have tons of customers in the Chicago area and across Illinois. And as Mason said, that's the best way to find out about how they like it. Our number one goal is customer service. And that's why we actually have partnered with Linkso, that you'll hear about here in a little bit, because their goal is our goal. And their goal is to focus on service. When you call, we pick up. If something's wrong, we're here to help. And everyone's going to say that again, but go talk to the customers. And one of the reasons that the main reason that we partnered with Linkso is because they share the same service goal. And with that, I think I'm at my 10 minutes. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your time. And I appreciate the ability to come here. And if you have any questions, we'll answer those later. Thanks, everyone. Pass it back to you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Peyton. We have our next group is FE Technologies. I'm going to give them a few minutes just to get ready here. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to add that in the chat.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Dustin Lamb, and I cover the Central US for FE Technologies. And we're happy to be here at SWAN's meeting today. Global leader since 2006 regarding Australia and Asia. We came to the United States in 2009, and we have over 125 library systems right now, just shy of 500 unique installs. Innovative product line, our V5, soon to be V6 lockers, anytime library, automated materials handling, and all of the standard library, public library RFID products. Most user-friendly software. That's what our customers tell us. Envoy, self-check software. Sort Assist, Be happy to show you that, and our cloud solutions. We are truly committed to support, and it shows. Next slide, please. From Lindsay Dorfman at Glenview Public Library, she said, we selected FE because of the user experience. This testimonial is from Irving Public Library, and she just basically highlights that most of the companies that she works with in her position, we were a pleasant surprise, able to do more and get things done quickly. So FE support is so effective. Most vendors will give you 3 references when you go to bid, or you'd like to talk to some of their customers. We will send you our entire customer list.
Okay, so I'm gonna press play on this. Let's see, I've got the volume cranked.
I don't hear it.
Anybody else?
I'm not hearing it.
Oh no.
If
We
you do
tested
share
this.
screen, you might have to also tell it to share audio.
Okay. Well, let's
I
pause
vaguely
for a
hear
moment.
something, but
Yeah, there's like a faint,
yeah.
faint audio coming through.
Oh, I think I know. I think it's maybe accepting the wrong audio input. That's always a pain. Let me see. Let's see if I can just lean my microphone a little bit closer to the speaker here. We'll start it from the beginning.
I can't hear it.
Okay. Well, basically, she's saying I'll keep working on this because I know we have further videos, but let's keep it moving. She's just saying that it's been wonderful working with them, and their customer service is phenomenal. So there you go.
Thanks. So this is our V5 self-check, this desktop freestanding. I believe upper right-hand corner is a new install at Siouxland in South Dakota. Next slide, please. This is at Euless, and it's just some of the highlights of our V5. This 44-inch table really becomes mom's best friend when she's in with 2 book bags, the kids, and a purse. It's just super easy and plenty of room. You can go to the next slide, please. Just more images of our installs with the V5, and there is a wall mount version to the upper right. Next slide. And just more installs. Next slide. This is a unique children's fixed freestanding kiosk. We also have height adjustable, but this is specifically designed for smaller folks. This particular one is wrapped. It's a nice looking children's install. Next, please. This is our new P2. P2 comes in a desktop. It comes in a freestanding unit as well as height adjustable. I do have a SWAN promotion running till the end of the year. I won't talk about it because we were asked not to talk about price, but all the folks at SWAN will have this promotion, and look forward to talking to some of the SWAN libraries regarding the new P2. Next slide, please. Our check-in bin is a differentiator in the marketplace. It really can replace a 3 or 5 bin sorter easily. Library branches that circ up to 500,000 annually use this in place of a sorter, along with our Sort Assistant software we'll talk about in just a minute. This bin holds up to 600 items, and it has a proprietary high-powered antenna that can read items in the bin, 99.8% accuracy. Our bin is super unique, and the normal RFID reader can read between 4 and 6 items at the same time, but our algorithm that we have developed will allow all items in the bin to be read rather. The bin floor is automatically raised and lowered via sensor lift and controlled by an optical sensor. The bin is loaded and unloaded, rise up from preventing staff from potential repetitive injuries. Next slide. The Sort Assistant is one of our other core products that pairs with our smart bin. One of our core products, including our smart bin, is our sort assistant. This solution connects to the ILS and allows the library to do a fine sort that are easily translated to their destination via a library selected color. The sort assistant will automatically check in books placed on the RFID pad and show staff where they need to go. Libraries normally use color-coded totes or book trucks, and the sort assistant can be color matched to the tote or the truck. For items on hold, the sort assistant will automatically print a hold slip and identify the book as being on hold. This function is available as all of the ILSs have come across. We can work with every ILS that has an extended version of SIP2. Next slide.
All right, and I apologize for the technical difficulties on the audio for these videos, but I did want to point out we are going to post this presentation on our support site, so those of you who would like can download the presentation and play it back on your local computer rather than watching me troubleshoot audio connections. We'll just keep it going.
Thanks very much.
Oh, again, I apologize.
Yeah, there was some video where it demonstrates the sort assistant in there as well. So I would encourage everybody to take a look at our presentation. That's fine. You can move to the next slide. I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. Our new Bookmatic sorter is just slightly over a year old. We've had it. And by the end of the year, we'll have a combination of 25 purchase orders and installations. So it's really taken off for us. I believe the one pictured here is at Siouxland, and you can go to the next slide. You name the type of destination that you want. I think this is some video too, and it's fine that the sound doesn't work if you just want to hit play. This is Sheila at Greenfield, Milwaukee. She's demonstrating how nice it is to work with these e-bins ergonomically. Our destinations are two different sizes of sort tables, a 25 and a 19. If you recall the old 3M sorters, those sort tables were approximately 31 inches, and our smallest one is 19. So let's just imagine a 40% savings in a footprint for your new sorter. Next slide, please. This is our Anytime library. And the one pictured here is at San Antonio College. This is an individual branch that holds 360 items. Most libraries will frost that bottom carousel for holds pickup. It's self-contained. It has Google images and descriptions of the items that are in there. We offer a cover for it. This particular one, San Antonio, did a really nice job for sheltering this particular unit. Next slide. And we also have a new external locker that we kicked off at ALA Chicago this year. And we're super excited to have this because this technology is doing very well in providing additional reach for public libraries. And last slide. In a nutshell, FE might be new to you, but I'm not. I've been in the RFID field now for 13 years. And I know a lot of you, and I look forward to seeing you again with the new company. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. Invite me out for a visit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dustin Lamb from FE Technologies. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Our next vendor that we have up is Linkso. Give them a minute to get ready here.
I think I'm all set whenever you guys are. There we go. Thanks, Aaron.
Oh,
First off, I'm Mason Melville. I'm the account manager for Linkso Systems. Been working in the Midwest for about 5.5 years now. Taking over some of the Southeast as well, but super happy to be here. Wanted to just say real quick, thank you for putting this together, Rebecca and Aaron. This is great. Usually we don't get to see these other vendors or get these many libraries together all at once, unless it's like an RFP walkthrough or something like that. So I might have overdone it on my presentation a bit. So Aaron, apologies ahead of time for saying next slide a ton of times. But just as like a quick introduction, I think Peyton did a good job of explaining our relationship with EnvisionWare. We're the sole manufacturer of all of our hardware and software. EnvisionWare helps us distribute those products. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about who Linksto is, and that was perfect. We're actually an intelligent logistics company. So we make systems that are, full visibility, track and trace across multiple different business units. If you want to go next slide. This is kind of where we came from. Library was one of the last things we did. We started really on the manufacturing and supply chain side of things. Actually, our president and our director of engineering, when they first got started, they were working on a project. It was a little before my time, but they were working on a project that was actually called the Big River Project. And it ended up being some of the first Amazon warehouses. So we've taken everything we've learned from, all these different business units, which you can see have kind of a common ground of you're going to need some kind of automated materials handling. And we've learned from those different industries and really applied that to library, slimmed everything down, made it super quiet, small. And this is really what we do best, which is another reason why we've partnered with EnvisionWare for kind of everything else. So if you want to go next slide. Just a bunch of logos for libraries that we work with across the country. Kind of, everybody throughout the through North America. I think we've got getting up to 600 or so installations, and a lot of them are central sorters. So, we can go consortium level all the way down to branch sorters. So, hopefully we'll see some more SWAN libraries on here soon. Do you want to go next slide? But for this meeting, we want to talk more about our RFID solutions, which Peyton touched on a lot of them. I know this is kind of a chaotic slide, but this is sort of everything else we've gotten into over the last couple of years away from our bread and butter of automated materials handling. So if you want to go next slide real quick. Lid cabinet, as Peyton described a little bit already, this is the first of kind of a triad of solutions. In today's library landscape, challenges range from operational issues to ensuring patron satisfaction. So between this, the hold shelf, and the intelligent return shelf, along with our lockers, we've kind of created a few different ways to extend the library's reach out into the community without taking on that, overhead of, building a new branch or, just really extending that reach into the community without going too crazy with it. So if you want to go next slide, we've actually got a quick video of how it works. Since Peyton already discussed it a little bit, we don't need volume on this or anything. We're good. It'll just show you. It might be a little choppy because there's so many people on here, but super simple. You just show up, put in your ID or scan your library card. Again, we own all the software, so we can set it up however you want. Door pops open, return as many items as you want, take as many items as you want. It's a little choppy there. I think she forgot about the door, kind of bounced off the wall, but they're durable, so that's good. Comes in a bunch of different colors. You can wrap it, as Peyton showed, to kind of really get that library branding out into the community. We're seeing a lot of these at like rec centers, gas stations, grocery stores, things like that. So again, you just get those high circulating items out into the community where, busy moms are, a bunch of people are kind of doing their thing, and you don't necessarily need to go to the library. So that's kind of the point of that. If you want to go next slide. Then the next thing that's kind of along those same lines is the intelligent return shelf. So again, Peyton kind of discussed this already, but the intelligent return shelf, the whole kind of idea with this, we had a bunch of different challenges from a staff perspective and from a patron perspective, which I'm sure you're all very much aware of. But to quickly describe what this is, basically every item is scanned and checked in within 5 seconds. So you completely eliminate that need for manual check-ins and you reduce your wait times for patrons. So if you could go next slide, Aaron. Thank you. You can actually set this up as an individual shelf, or what you're seeing here is kind of like a cove of these return shelves. So your super high circulating items are just right there when the patrons walk in. So we've actually seen with our own experience that like 35–40% of items that are returned to these intelligent shelves are checked out again before they need to be reshelved. So this not only reduces the workload, but it also ensures that popular items remain in circulation and just kind of keep them moving on that shelf. And you can actually tuck this way back, kind of wherever you want in your library to get people to come in. You can put it right in the front. It's totally up to you, kind of as Peyton mentioned, that consultative approach. So lots of things you can do with this. Perfect, thank you. The next thing would be the intelligent hold shelf. And this hold shelf is kind of the same technology, but this is specifically for holds. There's 2 videos to follow this. They look exactly the same. If you can go to those real quick. Yeah, thank you, sir. You'll actually see, patron coming up here again. Sorry, it's kind of choppy. But you just put your information in, same kind of thing you saw with the lid cabinet. Either scan your library card or enter your ID credentials, and those holds are going to pop up on the screen. In this video, he printed a hold slip, so he can actually kind of match them up, grab his stuff, head on out. The next video is exactly the same. If you don't mind skipping over to that, Aaron, thank you. Looks exactly the same, but you'll notice towards the end of this, he actually doesn't take a hold slip. And I know this is kind of a lot for some patrons to handle, but you do have the option if you wanted to. And again, not to bash patrons or anything, but you guys know better than anybody. Patron training is a little dicey. It can be. But if you wanted to, you can go paperless on your holds here. So this intelligent holds pickup solution can actually eliminate the need for hold slips, and you can have a paperless operation. So again, totally up to you. Lots of options. Lots of things you can do with the software to kind of manipulate it to make it perfect for your library. If you want to go to the next slide, please. So that brings us to our intelligent lockers. So just like everybody else at the peak of COVID, we all rolled out lockers. We're a team of engineers. We had nothing to do. So we took a little extra time, and we feel like we really developed these specifically for libraries. And our intelligent lockers were designed with minimal staff interaction. That was kind of the top priority. So one more video to follow this. Thank you. And you'll actually see here, as soon as this pops up, you can wrap these. You can do it at the time of manufacturing, or you can use a third party to wrap them. And you can see up in the top corner there, it's scan, retrieve, and go. That's literally it. There's no back of house processes. There's no extra steps. There's no extra workstations for staff. Patrons come up to the locker, put in their information, just like the lid cabinet, just like the intelligent hold shelf, scan your library card, whichever one you'd prefer. Those locker doors pop open, you take your stuff, and you head out on your way. You'll actually see as it zooms in on the screen here in just a second. There it is. When it zooms in here, you'll see this little notification right here. Close the locker door to finalize checkout. So that process is the same for both staff and patrons. As soon as patrons shut the door, the transaction's over. It's updated in the ILS. All of these products have real-time inventory management. Everything's within a few seconds. And then loading the lockers is the same thing from a staff perspective. So you show up to the lockers, you obviously have to go off site if you decide to do this with a third party. Some are doing it out in the community. Some libraries are just doing it right outside their walls, basically, or inside foyers. We have interior, exterior lockers. All of them are 24/7 holds pickups. But when you load them, you literally just put in admin credentials. All the available lockers pop open, fill them all up, shut the doors, and you're done. So it gets kind of weird when people ask for demos, because we're just like, there's not that much to it, but that was the whole design. And then these are actually can be daisy chained together. So this is a control module, and then you can add 4 towers on either side before you need another control module. So if you start with one, realize they've got really high demand, you can just kind of build from there. So those are our lockers. If you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Wrapping back to automated materials handling, kind of what we do best. If you want to, there you go, perfect. So why automate? A bunch of different reasons to automate. This turns into more of like a sort of a one-on-one conversation with libraries and executive teams within these libraries. We never want to show up and say, hey, here's what I think you should do. We want to understand your processes. We want to understand what you're trying to accomplish with automation. We want to understand your workflows. We want to understand how we can help, and then design the system with you. So everything we do is basically like custom. We don't do anything out of the box. We do everything as a custom system for that specific library or a library system. Again, we've done things at consortium level. We've done all the way down to single bin sorters that fit in the closet. But we want to understand your library and make the best kind of automation goals specifically for you. So all of these, we're all going to kind of do the same thing. Why automate? Obviously to improve patron service, but we want our stuff to work. We constantly are just backing up ourselves with this service-based reputation. And we just make stuff that works. And we want you to be a part of that design process so that that stuff that works applies to what you're attempting to do. So The overall goal is obviously to reduce repetitive tasks and the amount of labor with handling them, streamline workflows, and then actually improve the quality of the life for library materials. Who knows what happens to library materials when they head out to the public. So when they're within the library, we want to make sure we're taking really good care of them. So we've got a lot of auto leveling destinations, things that eliminate drops, things that are just really, really gentle on materials. If you can go back one slide there, Aaron. Sorry, man. Thank you. This is something else we'll do from a consultative process. This is just a quick calculation for, we're not supposed to talk about price or anything, but this is just like basically an example of how we could look at, your annual circulation, your stats, create a system with you, and then give you this calculation that you could bring to your library board, whoever you need to show it to, and you can see the months to recoup the entire cost. So if you can go to that last slide there. Why automate again? FTE hours can convert into all these positives. I do want to point out real quick that we're not using this as a way to eliminate jobs. We just use this full-time employee hour conversion as an easy way to look at the math. So we never want anyone to lose their jobs over what we create. We wanted, I'm sure all of you have a staff of, a team of staff. And we want to be able to take those people that do better in patron-facing roles and put them in those roles. Or if they're not really patron-facing type people, have them go do something else that keeps the library operating at the highest levels. We just want to eliminate those repetitive tasks that humans don't necessarily need to do, but we want to give those humans other tasks. We never want to eliminate jobs. We just use that FTE conversion as a good way to just look at the math of it. So this should be the last slide. I think I'm at about 10 minutes right now. Just some of the libraries we work in Illinois. Got one more after that. Same thing Peyton showed. But why Linkso and Visionware? Again, Linkso is the sole manufacturer of all the hardware and software. If there's anything you see here that maybe you'd like to enhance or add to, we have that ability, and Visionware helps us distribute that out to the nation. And we actually kind of tied up with Visionware because they had a very similar customer first approach. We don't have much of a marketing department, as you've seen by my slides here. It's just me out on the road with my phone. We'd rather put our money into our existing accounts and make sure everyone's really well taken care of. So that is why we work together. And we're hoping to work with you guys a little bit more in the future. Again, I'm always in Illinois, just like everyone else. So you'll have all of our information after this, but really appreciate the invite. Really appreciate everyone's time, and looking forward to any questions that we might have.
Thank you, Mason Melville of Visionware. And if anybody else has any questions, please put those into the chat.
Thank you.
Our next group, thank you. Our next group is TechLogic. Go ahead when you are ready.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Heitzman with TechLogic. I took a little bit of a different approach in that I focused on one product. Whether that's right or wrong, we all have kind of a short window to speak with you. So I'll give you a super brief overview of who TechLogic is. We were founded about 25 years ago by a librarian here in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Focused solely on AMH at the time, sort of the grandfather of AMH, if you will. Funny stories about traveling the country in an old RV, selling out of that RV. Growing on, the Library Corporation out of West Virginia purchased TechLogic. So we are still owned by the Library Corp, a woman-owned business, US-based. One could say we're pretty familiar with ILS integration. So being owned by an ILS, we work with all ILSs out there. We all have, all the vendors you've heard from this morning offer very similar products. In fact, some of the hardware that we offer is the same from the same manufacturer. I think what you need to keep in mind is software is different, how that hardware integrates with your ILS might be different. So ask questions of other libraries out there. We're all very good at what we do. I don't think any vendor on this call would tell you one or another is better or worse than another. We all offer kind of unique options for libraries. I think probably the two things that I want to mention very briefly that are new with TechLogic is a working partnership with Communico, where Communico is supplying software for self-check and we are supplying hardware. We're trying that out in a couple of libraries, and it's a pretty exciting new venture for us, if you will. Other than that, along with what everyone else has said, we're in the RFID space, we're in the AMH space. We provide gates, we provide shelf management, inventory tools, self-checks from libraries providing their own equipment, their own PCs, their own screens, their own barcode reader. We provide just the RFID pad and software, all the way up to kiosks. We do kiosks as well. The one thing that I wanted to focus on this morning that's new to us, if you will, is the holds pickup locker. And I think everybody's touched on their holds pickup lockers. One thing that strikes me about this space is that libraries were really looking, especially during COVID, obviously, for the self-service solutions. And a lot of, I'm not saying anyone on this call, but a lot of vendors were trying to fulfill those and use available funds. And you have package pickup vendors going into the library space and trying to fit that workflow into the library workflow, which didn't always work. I know there are some libraries out there that we work with that are struggling because they have to do separate workflows for loading lockers and for allowing patrons to retrieve their holds that aren't integrated with the ILS. So similar to Linkso, ours are fully integrated with the ILS, where you simply need to scan your library card and a door pops open, pick up your holds materials, and the checkout begins at that moment. So very simple process, again, integrated with the ILS. They are both interior and exterior rated. There's an available awning. So again, very similar to what my peers are offering. We do offer web-based control where library staff can manage that locker from anywhere that's connectable with the ILS. In fact, if a patron's child might accidentally close the door before materials are released, we can remotely open that particular locker so that the patron can then retrieve their materials. Couple more. So this is a look at what the staff might see. There's the availability to see more accessible lockers and fill those first. And it's a super simple process. Again, a manifest is provided to the library staff member. Library staff member populates the lockers and materials are ready to be picked up. Go ahead. A couple different options for console. We offer a dead drop return option as well. That works really well for remote lockers that aren't anywhere near a lobby. And then next. Go ahead, Aaron, if you want to advance to the next slide. There you go. They can be personalized. You can choose any number of wraps, any number of paint options. We can do vinyl. And they can also be added onto to make a larger accommodation. And I think there may be, yeah, that's it. So I kept it as I said earlier, short and sweet, talked about what's new for us. Obviously, the lockers are new. We're out there in libraries in Illinois. I was just down at Chicago Public a week and a half ago. Combine that with some college visits for my son. And yes, I dealt with Chicago traffic, which is crazy. If anyone has questions, feel free to contact me directly. I'd be happy to talk with you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. That's Mike Heitzman from TechLogic. I had, and this is our slide with the vendor contact info for everyone from today. I had a couple general questions that had come in, not from the chat, but from before. Sorry, let me take my video back on, so I'm not the disembodied head here. We had a couple questions from, oh, sorry, I was trying to start my video, but that didn't seem to work. Okay.
You're
I can't see, couldn't see myself for a second there. So I had a couple questions that had come in from before that I wanted to ask generally for the vendors while we have you here. The first question that someone had asked me was, how do we keep patrons from picking up other patrons' hold items from the open hold shelves. And any of the vendors, feel free to unmute yourself. Just let's make sure everybody gets a chance to talk.
Yeah, not a problem, Rebecca. I can take the first stab at that one. So I've actually got Matt Bellamy here. He was able to jump in. But really, what we've seen, because we've been providing this project globally for about 6 years now, and is just making its US iteration. And really, with this solution, once that item hits the shelf, the security is turned on automatically, and then the hold slip gets printed at a network printer, but also a notification goes to those staff members. So there's nothing stopping a patron from going and grabbing that item off the shelf, but if they went to check it out at one of our self-checks, as most of you know, there's a pop-up on screen that is clear to read and will say exactly what is either going wrong with that item or directing the patron what to do. And it would specifically say, this item is on hold for someone else, please see a staff member. And then you can customize that message to whatever you'd like it to say using our Quick Connect software. So a couple different options there, but that's really one of the ways to make sure that someone doesn't grab and check out someone else's item.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and ours is very similar. There's really nothing stopping patrons from doing that. But there's a couple of different security protocols on there. So as Mason mentioned, security tags are enabled. If you went to one of the self-checks to try to check it out, there'd be a couple notifications saying this isn't your stuff. And that was kind of the bad joke I was making with some patron training is associated with this. But again, with full control over the software, if there's anything missing there, we can add it.
All right, very cool.
The other question, just sorry, Aaron, one
No,
more.
no, I was
One
passing it
more
to
that
you.
had come in. We had a question that had come in on the SWAN community forums recently, and I saw that Inventionware had a slide with the RFID inventory wand. I thought that Biblioteca did as well. Could both of you guys talk a little bit about the inventory wand and what that does, and is it compatible with other vendors' RFID tags?
I'll go first this time, and then Mason can hit it up. So yeah, a few years ago, everything was moved to a standard, so we can read their tags, they can read our tags, whether it's TechLogic, Biblioteca, anything like that. When that ISO standard was changed, it really changed a lot of things in the space and allowed for freedom for libraries to, you're not stuck with one vendor. So if you have, our tags and you want to get a Biblioteca wand, great. If you have a TechLogic gates and you want to get our, it doesn't matter. We all can read each other's tags. That being said, on our inventory wand, it's been a super popular solution for a long time. What I tell everybody on it is it's not a magic wand. Everyone wants it to be magic. It's not. You can't run up and down the aisles. It's not like it's not that. Now, if you're properly trained and you use it correctly, it's fantastic and you'll love it. If you get it and just give it to a volunteer and say, hey, go do our inventory, I think you'll be disappointed. That being said, a lot of the hardware's shared between a lot of the vendors. But yeah, everyone can read everybody's tags. We can interchange anything. With that, I'll pass it over to Mason.
Yeah, thanks. I'll pass it to Matt.
Yeah, good to see or hear some familiar voices on the call. Regarding inventory, the same thing applies as Peyton mentioned. The one thing I'll note is because there are so many different implementations of SWAN libraries with different tag versions, one of the things that we build into our software is the ability to read multiple tag data formats without an impact. So whether you have like a legacy 3M format, the Danish format, the new US ISO standard, or other proprietary vendor formats, our software, which works with the reader, makes sure it reads those multiple tag data formats without having an impact on performance. And also ours is not a magic wand either. It does require some diligence in how the staff uses it, and having a good understanding of how to get the right data out of your ILS system is always a good best practice for taking advantage of some of the functionality.
Thank you so much.
If I could just jump in, this is
Go ahead,
Mike.
absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt. So one thing that we found with the wand that I think would be really helpful, try it out. Ask any of these vendors for a demo and try it out in the library for 3 or 4 weeks and see how it works for you and in that workflow. I think that that's going to help. And as Matt mentioned, the ability to read multiple tag IDs, different data models, see if it works for you. I think that's the best thing. It's a big investment. Make sure that it works for you and for what you've planned. All right.
Thank you. Good advice. Thank you, Mike.
Awesome.
Hey, Rebecca, this is Dustin. Could I jump in for just a second?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Sure, thanks. I just wanted to say that Kent District Library did a case study, a pilot on our live scanning wand. And they did it in 4 branches over 3 weeks, very thorough. And they ended up purchasing in excess of 35 of our wand. So I would encourage any of the SWAN members to reach out. We have a lot of the documentation from that pilot and lots of references. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. We have about 5 to 10 minutes. If anybody has any additional questions, please feel free in the chat. Or if anyone would like to, from the SWAN libraries, would like to unmute and ask a question, go ahead.
Yeah, floor's open, so feel free.
Nobody?
Everyone's shy.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to jump in and say this feels like I'm in a time machine because again, like so many names that I've interacted with over the years. Again, this is Ian Nosek. I'm the SWAN IT and support manager. But previously I was at Oak Park. We went live on TechLogic systems back in 2006. And that was actually it might have been even earlier than that. It's probably
Like another
2003.
lifetime ago.
2003, yeah. No, I can't even keep track anymore. But yeah, like 2003, and then like working with Biblioteca through the 3M thing, and with Dustin, and Envisionware. So it's just been really great talking to you guys. Just kind of seeing what you have going on. So I really appreciate you guys coming on for this. It's been kind of cool to and even Matt, I think I have an email with you somewhere back in the day, and like it's just kind of funny. So it's just kind of good seeing some of these names.
What's old is new again. So.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if anybody thinks of a question that they'd like to ask, feel free to just unmute and chime in or throw something in the chat. Well, I've got a couple slides left here. I just want to remind everybody about our SWAN support site for you member libraries. You can definitely use this. We've got our downloadable spreadsheet that's got all of our detailed member library information talking about tag interoperability. So that stuff is all detailed there. And of course, we have the SWAN forums. We usually kind of we don't have our own category, but we kind of take over the technology section of the forums there. And when the PowerPoint presentation, or when this presentation is finished, the recording is uploaded and all of the PowerPoint presentations are uploaded to the support site. I'll post a message in the forums just letting you know that all that stuff is available for review. Yeah, so I think that's kind of at the end. We'll just, we can maybe at this point stop the recording, hang out for a few minutes. If anybody has some questions that they want to ask that and not have it be on the record, then we can do that.